Tuesday, October 26th. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Director Ratterman,
Here.
Director Cicada,
Here or
Director
there.
Underhill. Director Underhill,
Here.
Director Thomas,
I'm here.
President Davidson.
Here. Item 3 is the consent agenda. The following items are expected to be routine, non-controversial. They'll be acted upon the board at one time without discussion. Any board member may request that an item be removed for later discussion. 3A, approval of the minutes for the board meetings of September 22nd, October 13th, and 3B, report on monthly investment transactions for September 2021. Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Director Ratterman,
Yes.
Director Cicada,
Yes.
Director Underhill,
Yes.
Director Thomas,
Yes.
President Davidson.
Yes. Move on to new business. 4A, discussion action regarding approval of a side letter agreement with employee organization SEIU Local 1021, Management and Confidential Union. We have Stacy.
Jeff, did we ask for public comment at the beginning of this meeting?
Public comment, Jeff.
At the beginning of the meeting? Oh, no, I did not. Yeah, let's do that. Is there any public comment on a non-agendized item? Thank you, Scott. Do you have any public out there? Okay, seeing no public comment, we'll move on now to 4A, discussion action regarding the approval of the side letter. Stacy?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The agenda item that is before you today is a result of the new contracts that were adopted earlier this year. And as we were going through the implementation of the contract, there's just a few clarification items that needed to be to put it into the MOUs due to the implementation of what the intent of the MOU was. So the first thing is the CalPERS health plans. CalPERS, as you probably know, has changed their health plan names. So there is no longer a PERS choice as of January 1st of 2022. The MOU references PERS choice, so we're just going to clarify that to the new plan name. The life insurance policy is 2 times annual salary versus 2.5 times. That was a typo. Retiree medical language, we're clarifying that. And in regards to the medical and dental reimbursement, the last several MOUs included a benefit that we did remove with this contract, or both these contracts. However, that is administered on a yearly level versus or calendar year versus a fiscal year. Therefore, Michael and I met and conferred with each unit and thought it was best to continue the $400 medical dental reimbursement for the calendar year of 2021, and then remove that moving forward as of January 1st, 2022. And those were the only changes.
Okay.
Any questions?
Board have any questions? Can I get a motion for acceptance?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Director Underhill, second by Director Thomas. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Ratterman,
Yes.
Director Cicada,
Yes.
Director Underhill,
Yes.
Director Thomas,
Yes.
President Davidson.
Yes. Okay, thank you. 4B, discussion action regarding authorization of remote teleconference meetings for board of directors during the period of October 26th through the 25th pursuant to AB 361. Michael?
The very fast version of this is the resolution that we need to adopt to be able to continue doing virtual meetings while there's this statewide disaster declared. There's more, I think we're gonna have to do this every 30 days.
Yes.
So there's more detail than that if we want to get into it, if the board has questions, or we could do the abbreviated version.
This just basically allows us to, if we want a teleconference from home, just not in a public place.
And not have to comply with all the agenda requirements that are typically in the Brown Act. Those would still apply if there's no disaster declaration, just to be clear. This is only while there's a statewide disaster declared, which is still the case under COVID right now. Once that is lifted, those Brown Act provisions would still control.
Okay.
I'm okay with the short version and move for acceptance.
All right. Thank you,
I'll
Scott. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Director Thomas?
Yeah, I just have a question. You know, as I was reading through both of these actions, the governor took an action to extend the ability to have meetings remotely. Isn't this AB 361 sort of superfluous? Why could continue fulfill a date? A date certain, I can't remember exactly what that was, so to get the governor's action, but this appears to me that it takes it all the way through possibility of taking it sunsets in January 1st, 2024. Well, explain that.
Well, the date certain in the governor's order was September 30th, 2021. So absent AB 361, we would not be able to do this.
I thought the governor himself extended.
The only thing that was extended to my knowledge, and I don't know, Matt, if you have other information, but the extension on the lockoff moratorium was extended to January 1st, but the Brown Act provisions were not extended. That was done by AB 361.
Correct. If we approve this, then this in and of itself, it looks like that this document here tells me that these provisions expire November 25th of this year. Why does
Unless we approve this.
unless we approve?
So we'll have to approve this resolution, or a similar resolution every 30 days during the disaster declaration in order to continue holding remote meetings.
Okay. Thank you.
And every board needs to do that every month. And 361, is that correct?
You're kind of cutting in and out a little bit there, Scott, but
Yeah, I think that's right, Scott. That applies to all agencies that are still hosting virtual meetings.
Okay.
If I understand that.
Director Thomas, is your microphone on?
It is now.
Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you.
Okay, may I have clarification of the 30 days? So that means to me that every 30 days, we're going to have to approve it again?
can we add it to our consent agenda or do we have to put it on?
I think we could add it to consent.
Yeah.
In the future. Yeah, we just didn't want to do that on the first one.
Okay. That's
Okay,
fine.
that would make it simple, right?
All right. Anything else from the board? We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Please call the roll.
Director Ratterman,
Yes.
Director Cicada,
Yes.
Director Underhill,
Yes.
Director Thomas,
Yes.
President Davidson.
Yes. Okay, we will go to the reports. General Manager?
Wow, that was record time.
Don't blow it.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. We have quite a closed session planned for you, but So just a few things to touch on, although we seem to be busier than ever, I think is maybe one way to put it. But we had I think a really productive meeting of our groundwater sustainability agency members. So I want to just provide a quick update on that. There's still some dialogue about the appropriate governance structure of that entity, whether we revise and create a more robust MOU or JPA or some other version of that. And I think that, I know you've heard that before, but I think the more we get into the details of the work that the GSA has to do, the more it informs that discussion. So I think we're going to have we've been meeting on a monthly basis in a group that includes, usually includes Director Thomas, Supervisor Tofanelli, sometimes Supervisor Fullendorf, the CAO, myself, Brad, County Council, our council, the larger group. And I think we're going to start having some interim meetings of just staff level, hammer out some details before we bring them back to that larger group. So I think we're at a point where we can make some more tangible progress. So that's good news. The bad news, I think I might have reported this already at one point, but our friend Ward in Stanislaus County, the water resources manager there, is retiring. So we will lose his wisdom in the GSA in January. But he continues to contribute a lot to that group. We also had a CPPA meeting, and there was a lot of discussion about the ongoing PG&E filing at FERC and the settlement discussions that are taking place there. It's a small victory is that, I don't know, I'm getting too far into the weeds of this, but previously one of the things PG&E was asking for was to bill based on our contract demand for each of our locations, which is a huge change because typically we bill based on how much power we actually use. And if your contract demand, if you're getting billed based on the contract demand every month, even if you don't use that full amount, and some of our facilities, they may be completely offline for 3, 4, 5 months out of the year, and then but have a significant load the rest of the time. So if we're getting billed for the full contract demand, that would have been a big impact on us. And it looks like that restructuring that they were pursuing has been defeated. There's still going to be some rate increases coming, but hopefully less than what was initially feared. So not necessarily good news, but the news is looking less bad than it was before. Maybe one way to put it. So once that dust settles a little bit more, we'll probably come back to the board, maybe agendize an item and give a more clear picture as to where things are landing. Should know a lot more at the end of this year, I think.
Excuse me, did you have any idea or any projection of what the increase in the
We do,
cost was?
and I don't recall off the top of my head what it is for this year. Although, and I know that CPPA decided not to pass the entire cost increase onto the member agencies. We absorbed some of that with our rate stabilization fund. I want to say it was in the neighborhood of 8% this year, and there will be increases going forward as well, but not as dramatic as what was initially discussed. So we also had Damon and Director Thomas and myself attended the HOA board meeting in Poker Flat last weekend, and a good discussion of the ongoing leak
repairs
that we have in Poker Flat and have had for a long time, and this board is familiar with those issues. So I think there's some understandable frustration still coming from the community there because those issues have yet to be resolved. But it was a good discussion, I think, and a good opportunity for us to hear directly from them and them to hear directly from us.
Because that was a pretty scathing letter, I thought. That they
It was, yeah. There's no, yeah, they're pretty frustrated with the situation, that's for sure. And then lastly, I just want to touch on the next board meeting. We're looking to probably just have one board meeting in November as we normally do. The question is whether we want to do it, keep it for, I think it's the 10th, or push it to the middle of the month, on the 17th, when there might be more of our finance reports available for the full board. So that makes it back to back with the finance committee meeting. And so there's trade-offs there either way.
I will be, I believe, let me look. I'm available the 10th, but I will not be available the 17th. I'll be in Arkansas in a tree.
You can call in.
Wet from the tree.
And right
So we can-
now, Michael, I think Camera has a scheduled meeting on the 17th in that room. At 2:30.
Right, yeah.
So it sounds like the
10th,
consensus is keep it at the 10th. We'll probably then have 2 months of financial statements
In December.
at the December meeting, and I think that's what we did last year as well.
I promise I will review them the same I do every other one.
I would, that is much appreciated. Outside of that, I don't think I had anything else to report, which I feel like I'm forgetting something because we have so much going on these days. But actually, I do want to add the meter replacement project is in full swing, as is the Tyler implementation project, the finance software. This is a really critical point, especially in the Tyler project, where there was no way to avoid every customer having to create a new customer account, with a new customer number. So if they're using online payments in any way, it's, we're just trying to do a big public outreach push to make sure that customers have the information they need to create that new account. So if you're getting any questions from constituents at all, I think we've already distributed the documents that Jessica's prepared, that we have all sorts of ways that customers can do that, and the information has been updated based on feedback we've gotten from customers to make sure it's as clear as possible what the instructions are. But it's really at a kind of a critical phase right now. Puts a lot of additional work on admin services staff.
do we have any kind of a percentage of how many customers have updated?
Great question. I don't know the answer to that. But I know some people are still surprised by it, so we need to continue the outreach effort.
I don't have the exact numbers. That's a great question, but we've made it through the first billing cycle for cycle 1. But bills are going out to cycle 2 this week. So right now phones are pretty quiet because I think those who've tried to pay their bills and needed to pay their bills for cycle 1 have done that. And a lot of customers from Ebbets Pass from cycle 2 who typically pay their bill early have contacted us, and we've worked with a lot of those. But starting next week, we are expecting an uptick in phone calls because we'll have that next phase. But we've learned from the first cycle, so
Okay.
we're hoping that it won't be as intense as the last one.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's all I have.
All right, board reports.
I have a question for Michael. That meeting that we went to on Saturday, I remember that there was a promise given there to communicate with their secretary to give her a link that she could put in their newsletter.
Yes,
Did that happen?
I don't know if it happened yet, but we'll follow up and make sure she has that information.
Okay.
Okay, board reports, Director Underhill.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to know if you ran across this high performance habits that the Calaveras County Chamber of Commerce was hosting. Did you see that?
I did not.
Oh, from October 14th through November 18th. This was in the Valley Springs News or in the news, so I can pass that on to you. I was curious, they had a redistricting meeting again this morning. If you heard anything about if we were impacted or. I
We're
know
not
we're
impacted.
gonna pay
No.
attention.
Yeah, no, we're not impacted. I know they published another draft map. And we're still doing the work on our end to come before we come back to the board with a proposal, but I don't think it's gonna look like the supervisor's district. But I wasn't tuned into their discussion this morning, so I don't have an update on it.
Okay, and I was flipping through Mia's monthly report, and I was wondering, she's talking about funding coming from the government, and I know at one point we were saying that we were going to see if we could do anything about Copper Cove, attaching or getting some of those funds from there. What's the status on that?
We've put a huge amount of effort both into a tertiary filter at Copper Cove, and now we're really refocused the second effort, because there's kind of parallel tracks. One is immediately trying to fund the tertiary filter replacement project there. The other is increasing the authorization from 3 million up to, I think we're around 15 million now, to cover the cost of other treatment plant upgrades. And recently, though, the focus of that second effort has shifted from other treatment plant upgrades to really honing in on the increasing the capacity at Pond 6, which is the secondary effluent treatment pond. And that would, under the terms of our permit, would immediately increase the capacity of the plant and resolve a lot of our issues. So both of those things are, we're pursuing those as aggressively as we can. We hope to have funding for the tertiary filter this fiscal year, which started last month, but we still don't have a federal budget. So I think the anticipation is we'll probably have another continuing resolution early in December. It would be a pleasant surprise to everybody, I think, if we actually had a federal budget by then, but probably not. So we should know more on that front early 2022.
Okay. My last thing is, I believe we got between 7 and 9 inches up the hill.
Yeah. Yeah. Even down the hill a little bit. We got, I want to say it was 6 inches in Valley Springs even.
Wow.
That sounds right.
Which is, that's compared to the 2020-21 water year, which the water year is also October through September. I believe the annual total down there was 13 inches, and we got 6 inches on Sunday. So that was quite an atmospheric river that under the new DWR rating scale, it was a category 5 exceptional atmospheric river, and put us off to a very good start for the water year. But, as we've all learned over the years, we still have a long ways to go before we can say we have a good water year.
And the next storm's coming in Friday.
I hope so.
That's projection.
I don't know about that.
That's all for me.
Okay, Director Rademan,
I have nothing to report.
Director Thomas.
Okay, I think the word scathing was used to describe the letter from Poker Flat, and it wasn't. I mean, the attitude and the sentiments expressed at the meeting wasn't quite as scathing. They expressed their disappointment that we haven't been more haven't fulfilled prior promises as quickly as we had promised. But anyway, whoops. I think that I've got this thing turned off. It's really odd that it was doing that. I think that we can calm them down if we can show them that we're making an effort. And we have discussed this in the past under the previous suggestions about how we could solve that problem, about putting on some additional people on our collections and distribution, or in this case, the distribution crew. If we could report to them sometime soon that we're moving in that direction, that would go a long ways. And in fact, you know, in that letter, they pointed out that the district has spent over $200,000 a year in Poker Flat fixing leaks.
Yeah.
And so their contention was that, you know, if we had made a decision to staff up earlier, we might have been able to pay for that staff expansion. Okay, let's see, that's about all that I had to report on that. On the issue of the county redistricting, this is really kind of an aside, but some of the maps that they're proposing would essentially put Copperopolis back with District 5. And that's the way it used to be, and it wasn't workable. You know, I don't know why they would even be discussing that. Just, it was really odd.
I couldn't care less what the county does.
Well, I just feel sorry for the poor supervisor that has to do that like I did. It's just terrible. But anyway, that's I conclude my report with that.
Okay.
How's that?
Excuse me. I don't know if I wanted to pass on the fact that Director Dooley suffered a mild stroke.
Mm.
So I saw him at church, and so he's able to, you know, he's still mobile, but he's slowed down a lot.
Okay, Director Cicada, do you have any reports?
No, I don't have anything to report now. Thank you.
Okay. I have nothing to report. So we will adjourn here in a minute into closed session. Parade aid negotiations with employee organization SEIU 1021 and 8B conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. Is there any public comment on our closed session? Okay, hearing none, we will adjourn to closed session.